Imagine that you just got your dream inquiry, you have your template set up, so you send that email, you send the inquiry right away. A day goes by, they haven't responded, but that's okay because you got the follow-up emails I gave you and you send a follow-up email. A couple days go by, another follow-up, a week goes by, a follow-up, maybe a text message, 2 weeks go by, and all of a sudden you start to get the feeling and understand that client has been lost. You're not going to book that client. They're not going to write you back. Whether they ghosted you, they booked someone else, or something disconnected, you start to understand, okay, I lost that one. And you did, up to this point, all I've told you to do and all you should be doing if you're hitting those follow-ups, if you're responding right away. But in the spirit of no excuses and taking full responsibility of your own success, let's take a look with a magnifying glass and kind of dive into what could have gone wrong in that. And if you strip it down and boil it all down, the one thing in there that you still have control over is your pricing guide. And today, that's what we're talking about. Welcome back, my friends, to another episode. If you are new around here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome. And I'm so excited to see all your faces today. My wife, Jess, and I have been professional wedding photographers for myself a decade and for my wife 15 years. We've had the privilege of traveling all over the world, photographing over 350 weddings. And now we get to travel the world and hop on YouTube and teach amazing creative entrepreneurs like yourself how to thrive in business and in life. And today, it's one of my favorite things. It's something that I am passionate about, even though it's a little technical, and that is building the ultimate pricing guide. You can have all the right emails. You can follow up right away. But if the information, your offers are not presented well, who knows how many clients you could be losing. And so today I want to walk you through the 5 essentials to building the ultimate pricing guide. I'm going to show you, I'm going to screen share the way I have set up my pricing guide so you can actually see with your own eyes exactly how that works. And watch this video, go through it and learn. But if you want to follow along, or when you're done with this video, I actually made a PDF of a worksheet that you can work through and follow along with this video or fill out after, that's going to help you build your pricing guide. And you can just hit that in the link below, and that's going to be just free in your inbox, so you can download that and start to build your pricing guide right away. So there's no excuse, even when you follow up right away. So without any further ado, let's dive in. And if you've been here for a while, I'm going to link either right here or right here. There's a video on follow-up emails and inquiry responses, and that's the first step to this. If you're not booking the weddings right away and getting ghosted, and you're not sending inquiries right away, a response back, and you're not sending a series of follow-ups, check out that video. And in that video, I have all of my inquiry templates and follow-up templates for you just to download. But right now, say you are doing all that, the one thing that's left is your pricing guide. And so let's just start. Let's start with what's probably the most important and should be on the top of our list, is how you send your pricing guide. As in, what is the medium you're using? Is it just a written email with all the information? Is it a PDF? Is it a plus site? Whatever that is. And essentially, you have a few options. One, and I'm just gonna take this off the table right now. There's an email, not an email with a link or not an email with a PDF or a download, just an email, as in you write out or copy and paste your prices and your offerings. If you are doing that right now, especially for your bread and butter, if you're a wedding photographer, for your wedding prices, if you're a family photographer, for your family prices, a senior photographer, you get it. Take that off the table. From now on, you use a pricing guide like I'm going to teach you, because that is one of the biggest reasons you're probably not booking if you're just using an email. And if you are, it's okay, but today's the day you get to level up. The other two options, and they're far superior than email, just an email, is you can send a PDF guide that they can download, or you can send a plus site. And plus site, I simply mean a link on your website that's a hidden page that has all the information they need. That is a superior option to all of this, but a PDF is also okay, and I'm going to break down both of them before I dive into my pricing guide, which is, yes, a plus site. So let's start with option number 1, a PDF. The beauty of a PDF is, 1, it's better than email, and 2, you have a lot of control over it, especially in the flow and design of it. There can be beautiful photos, you can have everything mapped out really chronologically and beautifully, and as people scroll through it, they can start to kind of go in the order you want them to. The biggest problem I have a couple problems with PDFs. One, like I just mentioned, Jess and I have been doing this for a long time, 10 years for myself, 15 years for Jess. And if she was just sending, or we were just sending PDFs of all of our pricing, say we up our price every year, and sometimes we do that multiple times a year, sometimes it's just once a year, but you up your pricing, which means you have to change the pricing in your pricing guide, obviously. And if we were sending PDFs over the past 15 years, that means in emails, in download folders, in phones, in files, all over the world, all over the internet, there's 15 different versions just sitting there that are no longer usable of our prices. And I don't want someone from 5 years ago to recommend their best friend and send over, I still have their pricing guide, and see these old photos, old pricing, and that's just floating out there. There's a better way to do that. That's my number one qualm with PDFs. The second I have is not all computers, whether it's a computer, a work computer or a work phone, will download a PDF like you think it does, which means the orientation can get messed up. Maybe it's not as mobile friendly depending on the mobile device they're using. And I want to give myself the biggest shot of success. And that's why personally, I don't use PDFs. And that brings me to option number 2, which is a plus site, a page on your website that has a link to it, and they can only find it when you send that link to them. If you're using Showit, and I think Squarespace might have this too, you kind of have unlimited page options, whether it's jamesandjess.com/pricing or whatever it looks like. It's that simple. So in the inquiry you're sending into the email, once they inquire with you, you can say, hey, click this button to check out my pricing collections, my options, and that will bring them to a beautiful page. The reasons I love plus sites compared to emails and PDFs is several reasons. Number one, I can make live updates to it. That means if I want to update the work on there, I want to update some of the information, I can do that live. It also means I can kill links live, which means I don't have decades or years worth of PDFs floating around. My 2019, my 2020 pricing guide, cut the link, doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't exist. That's one of the reasons I love it. 2, and most importantly for me, and I will teach you this in just a second, it's video capable. If I want to make a video explaining who we are, a welcome video, my prices, which I'll teach you, show more of my work and that kind of orientation, you can do that in a plus site. You can't really do that in a PDF, especially you can't do that in an email. 3, you can have finite control over a desktop version and a mobile version. On our Showit website, you can edit the desktop and then you can completely edit the same link as a mobile-friendly version, which means I have ultimate control no matter what device they're using. And 5, it's actionable, as in I can have clickable buttons if I have a call to action that they can hit that redirects them to the next steps of meeting me or booking me. PDFs can kind of do those things, but not nearly as efficiently and streamlined as a plus site. So now that I've made my case for the 3-tiered options, 1 should never happen, 1 is okay, and 1 is great, and that's what we're going for here. Great. We want to build the ultimate pricing guide. Let's talk about the 5 musts, the 5 essentials inside your pricing guide, because it's not just about showing your pricing. So I'm going to list all 5, and then I'm going to do a deep dive into each as necessary, and then I'm going to pull you over into my plus site so I can show you exactly how I do things and what mine looks like. So the 5 things that need to be in your pricing guide. Essential. 1, more of your work. 2, more about you. 3, your actual prices and offerings of services. 4, social proof and accolades. And 5, a call to action. Number 1 on the top of the list for pricing guide is you must have more of your work. Yes, they are booking you for your work, but it's not just about showing off your most hero and epic images. Have some of those in there too, but what this part is about is creating an emotional tie with your work and the people inquiring, your potential client. So as you're going through this, what I want you to do is go select your most emotional images chronologically from all your shoots and weddings and start to make those into a gallery of emotional images so they get more drawn in. You can do this with a simple gallery. If you're using a PDF, you can just have a few of those laced in. However, the number 1 option, like I said, I've been doing this a long time, 350 plus weddings, which means thousands thousands of inquiries. The most effective way I've ever done this is what I'm doing right now, and this is why I like video. It's to have a video, mine's about 90 seconds, and I put together all my most emotional images. So the first thing they see, and I'm going to show you this video as we dive in, is you click play, see more of our work, and it is just this insane video montage of all of our most emotional work, and it really does the job. I'm going to show you that when I dive into my pricing guide, but if you're interested in learning how to do that, either right here or right here, somewhere on this video, there's a link to a video I did of teaching you exactly how to do that. Hit that and save it for later so you can learn how to do that as you're building your new pricing guide. The second thing you need in your pricing guide is more about you. Yes, they're booking you because your work is good, but your work should be good is a given. You should have good work. If you're a professional photographer, your work needs to be good enough. But they're also not just hiring you for your work. They're hiring you because of you. So you need to put more of you, more of your personality, more about you, why you do this, why it matters to them in that pricing guide. The third thing, and this is what I'm going to spend the most time on right here, is the actual prices, as in the collections you offer, what they cost, and what's included. This should not be in an artsy format. It should be beautiful, but they should have a very clear understanding of if I book this, this is what I get, this is what I get, or this is what I get. There are several schools of thought and theories on, do I do a la carte? Do I have one option? Do I just say all day coverage? Do I just include one thing or two things or whatever it looks like? I have tried, and I can say this over 350 weddings and thousands of inquiries, I've tried almost every option there is out there. From a la carte to not giving the files to giving the files and all those things. That one didn't last long at all, not giving the files. I didn't like that. And I finally boiled it down to 3 collections. I've done this for a long time, and this has been the most efficient I've ever booked weddings, is when I have 3 collections. And there's a reason behind the madness of 3 collections. One, when you have 3 collections, your middle collection should be what 75 to 80% of your couples are booking. It should be the most beautiful, exactly what they need. In our case, it's 8 hours, 8x8, 20-page album, both of us, me and Jess, photographing the wedding. You can put an engagement session in there, and it is what sells most, and that's what I want. I want that. It's at the price I want. It's the exact one I want. Then there's the lower collection, which should be close enough in price to the middle collection that it actually points towards the middle collection. And then there's your highest collection. This one should be so distant in price and high-tiered of a price that most people will be like, you're right, point back to the middle. The middle collection is the sweet spot. The other role that the higher collection has is one of the reasons you have 3 collections. Both collections should point to the middle collection, but the higher collection, when you start to book that consistently, more so, maybe like 30, 40, 50, 60% of the time, like that's more of the popular collection, that's an indicator that it's time to raise your prices. Good for you, which means you just shift down the price to the middle collection, come up with a new higher price, and then everything keeps working in that rhythm and flow. And one more word on pricing tiered collections. Sure, your lowest priced collection is obviously the lowest price. You want them to book the middle or the higher one. However, whatever that number is on the lowest tiered collection, you must be okay if someone books that, because it's essentially your doing. You're saying, I'm putting this out in that world. You're allowed to book me at this. Yes, you point them towards the middle collection, but say someone comes along and they just need 6 hours and this and that, and you're offering it to them and then they bite at that. You can't be mad if they're doing that. So whatever that price is, you have to be okay with that being booked. And I could go into so many hours of numbers and theories and this and that. There's no rule. Whatever you're booking at right now, if people are booking it, cool. Let's turn those into 3 collections. You want to risk a little bit? Let's up the prices a little bit. Maybe the point on this is the value of the lowest collection should be so low when they look at the middle collection of thinking the price gap's not that big, but I get way more value up here. I get 2 more hours, I get an album, maybe I get an engagement session, all of those things. And there's no rules, you guys. You can make up the prices, and if they're booking, awesome, and you can adjust as they go. One of the biggest lies that I hear is, well, once you raise your prices, there's no going back. Says who? Doesn't matter to me. Maybe one or two people see those prices, and I think the theory behind that is, well, word's going to get out, you lowered your prices, or word's going to get out that you charge so-and-so. Well, you own your business. You can decide whatever you want to charge. Say you raise your prices and it's not working, put them back. That's it. It's that simple. So don't believe the hype around once you go up, there's no turning back. Doing this a long time, and 99% of the time, that's totally fine to do. So moving on from there is point number 4, which is social proof and accolades. This can come in the form of client testimonials or pull quotes. It can be where you've been featured. Jess and I had the honor of being named #1 wedding photographers in California by California Wedding Day. That's a great thing to put in there. Anything that's social proof, where you've been featured, all of those amazing things you can put right in there. And it just gives, it's not a show off, it's a affirming who you are and what you've done. It's showing, hey, these guys do know what they're doing. Other people have said so too. It ups that trust factor because remember, people book people they know, like, and trust. And that's just instilling a little bit more trust. And number 5, and if you ask me, this is the biggest missed point in any pricing guide. You need a clear call to action. People need to go through that pricing guide. They should be stoked out of their minds. They should be excited. They should know what collection they have questions on or want to book right away. And then they're like, well, what do I do now? Of course, you assume they go back to the email, but wouldn't it be better if you got a button like I do that says, click here to schedule a time to meet with James and Jess? Easy. Make sure you have a clear call to action. And those right there, my friends, are the 5 essentials of the ultimate pricing guide. So I'm gonna hop into my screen real quick and I'm gonna walk you through a mock-up version of what mine looks like so you can get the flow of it. I'm gonna press play on the video so you can see how those things work and how effective that can be once you see them. So let's hop into my screen right here real quick. So here we are inside my screen, and this is our example pricing guide. This is the base that we use whenever we're building a new pricing guide, whether we're updating work, it's a new year, we're changing our pricing, whatever that may be. So I'm just gonna walk you through from top down. So as we can see up here, it's just we are James and Jess, international wedding photographers. Obvious, but just restating your name, what you do, your company, and then right under that, this is point 1, where I say more of your work. Yes, it is good to have a gallery if there's a PDF or a scrolling gallery, but this is just 90 seconds and I want to show you exactly what we have done to show our work. Keep in mind when I say make it chronological and emotional, and that's what we did here. So I'm going to hit play and here we go. So that right there is one of my most proud videos I think I've ever made because of what it does. If anyone's questioning my work, the emotions we can draw, if they're lacking an emotional connection, right there, I mean, you just experienced that yourself. That is what does the trick. Also keep in mind, if they're scouting a few photographers, not many people I know do this, and if you're doing this, that ups you extremely high in the book of connecting with that couple. So that is how I display more of our work. Moving down here, there's a quick as seen in section, which is the Not Huffington Post, TLC, etc. And that is more of the accolades. It's kind of that reassuring factor. So they see my work. The way I see it is they see my work. They're like, wow, they're really good. Oh, wow, these people back them too. And then right here is the why choose us. This is just a blurb on more about us. And of course, bringing in the couple as well and why we do what we do and making them like us more. Remember, people buy and book who they know, like, and trust. And under there, this is the investment section. This is the other reason I love video. So this is the investment section. This is right here is the investment video. And then underneath this is the 3 collections we offer. So I'm gonna click through this video. I think it's about 2 minutes long. Nothing crazy, but you can see how powerful video can be instead of just a stagnant PDF or document. So take a look at this.
Hey there, congratulations on your engagement. We cannot wait to meet you both. Thank you so much for your interest in us photographing your wedding. We just wanted to introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit more about us and what we do.
We are James and Jess, a husband and wife wedding photography team. We've been married for over 7 years now and have photographed more than 350 weddings over the past decade. We are based in sunny Santa Barbara, California, and we have the privilege of traveling the world photographing amazing couples like you. Below this video, you can see all of our wedding collections, and we're gonna walk through each one with you right now.
Collection 1 includes 10 hours of coverage, all of the high-resolution edited images for you to print, share, and download, and a 10 by 10 20-page wedding album. Once all your wedding photos are delivered, we will send over the initial album design digitally so you can review and make any adjustments or upgrades you would like before we send it to print. The one area most of our couples choose to invest extra money is on their album.
Collection 2. This is by far our most popular and booked wedding collection. This includes 8 hours of photography coverage with both Jess and myself, all of the high-resolution edited images for you to print, share, and download, and credit for an 8 by 8 20-page wedding album. 8 hours is usually the sweet spot to tell the entire story of your wedding from start to finish.
And Collection 3. This collection includes 6 hours of wedding photography coverage and the high-resolution images. Usually 6 hours is not enough time to capture the entire wedding day unless you have a really small wedding or an elopement.
The next steps to book is to take a look at the collections below and then schedule your consultation with us. We will be spending plenty of time together on your wedding, and we want to make sure it's a good fit. If you happen to be in Santa Barbara, come over, we'll make you drinks, and we can answer any questions you have. If you are not in the same town as us, go ahead and pour yourself a drink, and we'll meet via FaceTime. So that right there, my friends, is exactly what we do. That right there, if you press play on that, like I said, if you're comparing us to someone else and that's us right there, that's a direct way to get people to know you, to like you, to trust you, to see that you're an expert. And by no means do you have to do maybe as an extensive video as this, but even something just walking through collections or I'm so excited to see you here. And if you just need the courage to do this, have a couple glasses of wine if that's your thing, write a script, go on Amazon, and you can get a teleprompter if you want. There's even iPad apps. You can set your phone up and record this with a teleprompter app so you can just be reading it as it goes. Find the courage to do that and understand when Jess and I were first making videos, it took us 10, 20 takes to do this, but all you need is one video of this and you've got it. And that's how we introduce our collections. And of course, we love, love, love albums. It's one of the most clutch parts of our business for the experience and all the things. And so we make sure we put a little B-roll of albums in there. And then following that, of course, call to action, and bam, right here. This button says let's meet. Click here, it goes to our Calendly link. Or if you're using Honeybook, they actually just came out recently with a calendar where you can just click and you can have them schedule. You can pick the times you're available for the next week or two, and ours has an option of meet in person or meet via FaceTime or Zoom. That's a direct call to action that pairs with the call to action in our email that says, does this time work for you? So they already have 2 calls to action by the time they go through this pricing guide. The other amazing thing is by the time they click this link, they've already seen this video, and right below it, is the investment. So this is how we have our pricing set up. You can go back and forth between this and see what's right for you. A lot of people, and in this case, collection 1 would be our most expensive collection, and that's called anchored pricing. Anchored pricing means they're saying the biggest number first, so whenever they click to the next one or see the next collection, things look less expensive and less dramatic than more expensive and more dramatic. And that's kind of what you want. You want a base anchor and then, oh, it actually gets better from here depending on the client and depending on what their budget is. So collection 1 for us is 10 hours of coverage, James and Jess photographing, $1,200 album credit for a 30-page 10x10 linen wedding album, online viewing and ordering gallery with high resolution images for printing. It's straightforward. They know exactly what they're getting. And above in this video, they already saw what albums look like. You hit next collection. This is collection 2. This is the collection we most popularly book. 8 hours of coverage, us photographing the wedding, $600 album credit, which for us right now is actually up to $1,000 album credit. And if you're interested in albums at all and you haven't taken that leap yet, it is so powerful for so many reasons in business. And if you're interested in that, I'll also link below in this video. Jess and I have a free hour-long workshop for you of the 5 ways to make more money without raising your prices and how to serve your clients through all those things. And albums is the 5th and biggest point in there. So you can actually click that link below when you're done with this video and check out albums if you're ready to take that leap and learn more about albums. Moving on from there, as you can see, there's the online gallery with the images ready for printing, sharing, and downloading. The next collection, this is collection 3, and like we say up here, it's meant for smaller weddings, and it's only 6 hours, it's us, and it's the photos. It's pretty bare bones. And the goal we want for collection 3 and then a middle collection, collection 2, say, let's just use some straight numbers. Say this was $1,000. I know it's fairly low, but say this is $1,000. You want the other one to maybe be $1,500, so it looks like, oh, well, they charge $300 an hour, plus there's an album in there. That's an easy jump, because if I were to add 2 a la carte hours, I still wouldn't be getting as much as I would in that collection. And that's kind of what you want to do with the lowest collection and the middle collection. And then the last slide we have on here is a la carte engagement session. If you have that separately, additional wedding coverage hours, photo booth if you have that, and Jess does boudoir, so it just says inquire with Jess. And in our welcome magazine, she has a couple pages on boudoir, so that's just kind of a touch point for the brides to see and keep that in the back of their minds. And this also says, don't forget to ask about destination packages, because in the destination world, a lot of the times you're there for the whole weekend, so it's kind of a separate way of pricing that. And in the future, very near future, Jess and I are going to be diving deep into destination weddings, booking them, the whole thing. It's going to be amazing. And that right there is how we share our investments on this pricing page. They go next, it goes back to collection 1. Moving on from there, down here, this is more of the accolades and social proof. This is just words from our couples. This is pull quotes from reviews we've gotten from various couples, so they can kind of just watch that as it scrolls through and get a feel for what other people are saying about us. And then underneath that, the call to action. What is next? This is let's meet, book us, and celebrate. And that is the call to action. That's the clear, this is what you do next, and why I love a plus site amongst all the other reasons. You can click right here and schedule a meeting with us. And then underneath that is just our footer that's on our whole thing, to follow us on Instagram and every other link to our website if they want to keep looking at our website. And that, my friends, right there is the James and Jess pricing guide. And that, my friends, are the 5 essential steps and musts to building the ultimate pricing guide. If you have not yet, hit the link below this video so you can download the worksheet that goes with this, so you can start mapping out how to build your ultimate pricing guide. If you have questions, hit them in the comments below. I am here. If you have not yet, please hit subscribe. I am here daily. You can like this video. You can scroll through the rest of them. And speaking of that, if you have not watched my video on follow-up emails yet, I give you our inquiry template and our other follow-up email templates. That's either going to be linked right here or right here. And until next time, my friends, have an amazing day. Know that you are capable of great and amazing things, and I will see you in the next video.